Ever get that feeling, when you're reading a company's sustainability report, all those glossy pictures of wind turbines and happy employees, and it all just feels a bit off. Like maybe they're more focused on looking good than actually doing good.
Yeah, you're definitely not alone. There's a lot of skepticism around corporate reporting these days, especially when it comes to, environmental, social, and governance factors.
Right, ESG.
ESG, exactly.
And that skepticism is exactly why we're taking this deep dive today. We've got a recent article from FinTech Global and kind of a broader overview text too, and we're going to explore how AI could be the game changer for making those reports a whole lot more trustworthy.
It's interesting because even the folks creating these reports, they have some serious doubts. A recent EY survey.
Ernst & Young.
Yeah, Ernst & Young, one of the big accounting firms, found that a staggering 96% of finance leaders are worried that their company's non-financial data, which includes all that ESG stuff, isn't reliable enough.
96%.
Wow.
So basically everyone's just walking around with their fingers crossed, hoping these numbers hold up.
Pretty much.
It's a bit unnerving, to say the least.
It is. And it's not just those inside companies who are concerned. Investors are getting wary, too.
Right. Makes sense.
The FinTech Global article highlights that 78% of investors believe we need new reporting standards, especially for sustainability information.
Which makes sense. After all, they're the ones putting their money where their mouths are, so to speak. But here's the thing. That same article mentions that over half of investors see AI as crucial for verifying those reports. That's a pretty significant vote of confidence in the power of AI.
It is, and for good reason. AI has a unique ability to analyze massive amounts of data spotting patterns that would take humans ages to uncover. Think of it like
a superpower detective.
Exactly. Imagine an AI scanning through thousands of supplier contracts and flagging the ones with vague environmental clauses that could be hiding some not-so-sustainable practices. That's the kind of deep dive AI can do.
So it's like having a superpowered detective on the case, sniffing out any whiff of greenwashing. I love it. Now that's what I call getting ahead of the curve. And it's not just about catching the bad guys. The FinTech Global article also talks about AI enabling real-time reporting.
Exactly. Instead of waiting for those long, dense reports that come out months after the fact, companies could have live dashboards showing their environmental and social impact as it happens.
Oh, wow.
We're already seeing this with some renewable energy firms using AI to provide real-time updates on their energy production and emissions reductions.
So it's like having a constant pulse check on a company's sustainability performance. That level of transparency has to be a game changer for building trust with investors and the public. But hold on, wouldn't that be incredibly complex and expensive to implement? Remember all those finance leaders who are worried about the costs?
There are definitely some valid concerns there, but the potential benefits might outweigh the costs in the long run. And keep in mind, this isn't just about making investors happy.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What else is there?
Think about how AI-powered reporting could benefit employees. Imagine getting personalized training on sustainability practices, receiving real-time feedback on your impact, and even tracking your progress toward company-wide goals. It could create a much more engaged and empowered workforce.
It's like taking all that data that's usually locked away in boardrooms and putting it into the hands of the people who can actually make a difference.
I love that. But let's be realistic. AI isn't a magical solution to all our problems, right?
You're absolutely right. We need to remember that AI is a tool. And like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad. We need to be cautious about potential biases in the data used to train AI algorithms, and we need to make sure that these systems are developed and used responsibly.
So it's not just about embracing the technology, but also about being mindful of its limitations and potential pitfalls.
Precisely, and that's where our deeper dives comes in. Let's look at some real-world examples of companies that are already using AI for ESG reporting and see what lessons we can learn. So we've got all this potential swirling around AI and ESG reporting, but I'm curious to see how this is actually playing out in the real world. The overview mentioned some interesting case studies, right?
It did. One that stands out is Unilever. They're using AI to analyze their entire supply chain.
Which is massive.
What's really impressive is that they're using AI to map the deforestation risk of each ingredient they source.
Wow, that's pretty incredible when you think about the complexity of a global supply chain. So they're not just talking about sustainability, they're actually using AI to get a granular view of their impact.
Exactly. It allows them to make more informed decisions about their sourcing practices and even work directly with suppliers to improve sustainability throughout the chain.
That's a great example of how AI can move us beyond just reporting on the problem to actually finding solutions, what other companies are out there pushing the boundaries.
Another company that caught my eye was Tesla. They're using AI to monitor their production processes in real time, making sure they're using energy as efficiently as possible.
Well, that makes sense for a company like Tesla, considering their focus on sustainability and technology. But is this something that companies in other industries can replicate?
Absolutely. Think about all the industries that rely on complex supply chains or resource-intensive processes, manufacturing, agriculture, fashion. The list goes on. AI has the potential to bring a level of transparency and optimization that was simply unimaginable before.
It's starting to feel like AI is becoming a must-have tool for any company that's serious about sustainability. But let's shift gears a bit and talk about the impact this could have on investors. I mean, they're ultimately the ones who decide where the money flows.
That's a really important point. Remember how we talked about investors demanding more transparency and accountability? AI could be the key to giving them the information they need to make truly informed decisions.
So instead of relying on those static reports that might be sugarcoating the truth, they could have access to real-time data on a company's environmental and social performance.
Exactly. Imagine a world where investors can see live dashboards showing a company's carbon emissions, water usage, employee satisfaction, even their contributions to local communities. It's about painting a much richer and more dynamic picture of a company's impact.
Okay, that's starting to sound like a real game changer. Investors could actually align their portfolios with their values in a way that's never been possible before.
And it could create a powerful incentive for companies to step up their sustainability game, knowing that investors are watching their every move.
I can already see the headlines. Company stock plummets after AI reveals questionable environmental practices. It's like the Wild West of sustainable investing out there.
There's definitely a lot of excitement and potential, but let's not forget that challenges ensuring data accuracy and reliability is paramount. AI is only as good as the data it's fed, so we need robust systems for collecting and verifying information.
Right, because garbage in equals garbage out. And what about all this talk about data privacy and security? It seems like there's a lot of sensitive information floating around when we're talking about AI and corporate reporting.
That's another crucial consideration. As AI becomes more integrated into these systems, we need to make sure that we're protecting confidential data from misuse or unauthorized access.
So it sounds like we're still in the early stages of figuring out how to harness the power of AI for good while mitigating the potential risks.
We are, but I think the key takeaway here is that AI has the potential to fundamentally transform the way we think about corporate reporting and accountability. It's not just about ticking boxes anymore. It's about using data to drive real progress toward a more sustainable future.
I love that it feels like we're on the cusp of a major shift in how companies operate and communicate with the world, and I'm excited to see what the future holds. But before we get too carried away, I think it's important to remember that all this technology is just a tool. It's up to us, the humans, to use it wisely and ethically. It's like we've been handed this incredibly powerful toolkit, but we're still figuring out, how to use it all.
Yeah, I like that analogy. We're all pioneers in this new landscape, right? Navigating uncharted territory.
Right.
But that's also what makes it so exciting.
Yep.
We have the opportunity to shape how this technology is used and ensure that it serves a greater purpose.
It's a bit like the early days of the internet, right? So much potential, but also a lot of uncertainty about where it was all headed. And look at us now, we're having this conversation across continents thanks to that same technology.
Exactly. And just like the internet revolutionized the way we communicate and access information, AI has the potential to revolutionize the way we think about business sustainability and our role in creating a better world.
It feels like we're at a crossroads.
Yeah.
We can either let this technology control us, or we can use it to create a more transparent, accountable, and ultimately, more sustainable future.
And that brings us back to the heart of this deep dive. It's not just about AI or corporate reporting. It's about using technology to empower people and drive positive change.
It's about moving beyond the hype and the buzzwords and getting down to the real work of building a better world.
And that work starts with each of us.
So listener, as you go about your day, we'll leave you with this thought. How will you use your newfound knowledge to navigate this rapidly changing landscape? Will you demand more transparency from the companies you interact with? Will you dig deeper and look beyond the surface level?
The power is in your hands. With a little curiosity and critical thinking, you can make a difference.
That's it for today's deep dive. We'll be back soon with another fascinating topic to explore. Until then, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep pushing for a better future.